In France and Germany, the news today, they are literally busting down the doors of thousands of wealthy people, raiding their homes and even doing body searches. This is in France. Their crime? Well, they have a Swiss bank account, we're pretty sure. That's it. That's it. The authorities' official explanation for the raids is, well, we're suspicious there might be some tax evasion. May I give you my official explanation of the Europeans' official explanation? We're out of money and we're here to take yours. We warned you this was coming. As the money dries up, each and every country on the planet will do everything they can to get at yours, suck more of yours. And they're going to blame anyone they can. They'll blame the evil rich man in the process, and after they're done with the rich, they come for you. On my trip to Greece and Italy and the Vatican here just a few months ago, I had a meeting with a very wealthy developer. He was kind enough to drive me around his country and show me a few things. We were driving in the car, and I complimented him on the car. It was a sweet car. It wasn't this one, because this is a dumpy van that I rented. His car was pretty sweet, and I said, this is nice. And he said, yeah, I got to get rid of it. I said, why? Now I'm thinking, because I really thought we were going to take out the people that were walking on the sidewalks, because it was a huge car and way too big to drive around the narrow streets of Rome. And I said, is it too big? And he said, no, it's actually too much of a pain in the neck. He said, every week now we are stopped and questioned by the police. I said, for what? And he said, the car. I said, what does that mean? He said, I'm rich. The car is a target. They've now merged. He said that their version of the IRS and the police had begun merging documents. So they could pull up your license plate and they would see your income tax record. He said, we were pulled over every single week. Anyone who appears to be wealthy is being pulled over and hassled, and this is being done by design. It's being done to train the public and to train the rich. Rich people are trouble. Having too much nice stuff is trouble. And they train by having run-ins with the police or the version of the IRS. The wealthy are the scapegoat for the politicians, you see. They need somebody to blame it on. And remember, whatever is happening to the wealthy around the world happens to you no matter what income bracket you're in America, because the poorest among us here in America are the wealthiest 1% to the rest of the world. So the end of the line is blaming you. Now, this same blame the rich thing is happening here in America. We are training Americans to hate people who achieve extraordinary success and wealth. Some of them, like the Kennedys, go blameless, even though they never earned a dime for themselves. But most people who are rich earned it themselves here in America by not doing anything nefarious, but blame them. Blame them for any problem that arises. And the two words to prove how effective this is, this class warfare, it is this: big corporations. You know, there are some big corporations that are good, but we immediately think bad. Big corporation, oh, bad. How about Walmart? Walmart employs 2.2 million people. I don't know, that's the entire population of Rhode Island times 2. Bad corporation, create jobs. We're now being taught that something I was always taught as a kid, oh, maybe you could grow up to be a doctor. And I was a very big disappointment. No. But now I'm kind of glad I didn't grow up to be a doctor, because doctors, you know, just cut the feet off of people for profit. When the healthcare thing happened, the day that it happened, we were joking about it on the radio, about how, you know, I said, you're going to have to do your own healthcare now. You got to learn how to do a doctor. You know, I talked here about, say, I had a tonsil problem. How do you handle somebody with a problem with tonsils? Of course, you can get some extra money. You cut off the feet. We were making fun of this, but let me tell you something. This is pretty much what the president did with a bunch of people, clowns like me, standing behind him in white coats. This is what he told people. There you go. It's not true. It's demonizing. We're told the wealthy have to pay their fair share, even though the top 10% of income earners, the top 10%, pay 70% of all federal income taxes. What is the fair share? You want 80%? 90%? What do you want? Give us a number. The president will just say, well, at a certain point, what's that point? At a certain point, you've made enough money. Oh my gosh. Really? It's relentless. Watch.
I did not run for office to be helping out a bunch of fat cat bankers on Wall Street.
We need to talk about how we create a crisis for the super rich.
1, 2, 3, the bourgeoisie. 4, 5, 6, the bourgeoisie.
I first would allow the guilty bankers to pay, the ability to pay back anything over $100 million personal wealth, because I believe in a maximum wage of $100 million. And if they're unable to live on that amount, then they should, go to the re-education camps, and if that doesn't help, then be beheaded.
Eat the rich and smash the state. 1 war, but class war. 5, 6, 7, 8. Eat the rich and smash the state.
Give them the wealth. Give them the wealth.
That's it, man. We're being trained. It's those fat cats. It's the big oil executives. Smithers, get me another cat to pet. I mean, that's what's happening. Point fingers and turn successful people into some weird subclass of humans. Are you telling me Steve Jobs, read the Steve Jobs book. I'm reading it one night, and I'm like, oh my gosh, he did what? In it, he's demonizing me. In his book, he talks about how he went to Rupert Murdoch to try to get me fired. You know what? Whatever, Steve. Miss ya. Apple's not going to be the same. I use Apple products. Okay, here's a guy who tried to get me fired. I'll still say the guy was a genius and deserved every dime he made. You're telling me that Bill Gates, with all that wealth, somehow or another, he's a bad guy? You know who's done this to us? People like Michael Moore, that convince you that you'll never make it in America. Who is Michael Moore? He's a big, fat, dumpy guy. But beyond that, he's a communist. That's why people can support high taxes on the rich. But yet they'll still say, well, the lotto winner, he shouldn't have to pay taxes. Why? He just won $15 million. Well, no. Wait, he can afford it. He'll never even notice that money gone, right? No, because people don't see themselves as ever being able to earn their money to become rich. I was poor 10 years ago. Poor. I couldn't afford an apartment for $695 in 1999. I barely made my rent. Come on, man. This is the greatest country in the world. When we look at the wealthy, too many of us don't see ourselves and say, we don't aspire to anything. We tear them down to our levels instead of saying, I want to be like that. We have to turn people who are successful into evil, awful monsters. Here's in real time, this is what's happening right now in America. The DNC chair, Debbie Wasserman Schultz. The Democrats tried to use Mitt Romney's wealth against him. There's no evidence. There's no hint. I mean, Mitt Romney is the most plain Jane, vanilla pudding kind of guy ever. I've been a naughty boy. Okay, I admit it. I had some dessert this afternoon while my wife was at home cooking a nice meal for me, and I'm not quite as hungry as I should be. Come on! Okay, I admit it. I didn't give the guy a haircut in 1965, but I did admit to doing it when I thought it might be possible that I did it. I'm just that kind of a bad guy. You know, Mitt Romney's not a slimeball. You can say a lot of things about him, but he ain't a slimeball. Not doing anything unethical. But listen to what Debbie Wasserman Schultz, of all people, say about Mitt Romney. Watch.
I'd really like to see Mitt Romney release more than 1 year of tax records, because there's been disturbing reports recently that he's got a Bermuda corporation, a secretive Bermuda corporation that no one knows anything about, investments in the Caymans, investments in, he's got a Swiss bank account. Why the Americans need to ask themselves, why does an American businessman need a Swiss bank account and secretive investments like that? It's just a thought that I'd like to leave folks with.
I just want to throw that thought out there. It's secretive. It's disturbing. He might be a vampire. We don't know. We don't know. Sucking the blood out of little children at night. Now, this is what makes this so comical and makes it such a joke. Debbie Wasserman Schultz, she knows a little something about, not being so transparent. Every time somebody runs against her, she doesn't release her tax records. And she says, I don't have to do that. What? I don't have to do that. I'm not doing that. Whatever. I'm not doing it. So she's asking Mitt Romney to do something she won't do. And then, as if that's not enough, she might know something a little bit about Swiss bank accounts that she thinks are so shady and so nefarious, and we better look into them. She's at least looked into them enough to invest in Swiss banking firms. So she may not have her money in Swiss banks, but she's certainly hoping that Swiss banks do well because she's invested in Swiss banks. It does. Lord, thank you for this manna from heaven. It doesn't get any more ridiculous than Debbie Wasserman Schultz. Please let her stay the DNC chair. Please. And here is her, show her disclosure form. There it is. Do you have any money in Swiss banks? What? Now, I want to make sure that you understand. I'm not sure if Debbie Wasserman Schultz has done anything wrong. We don't know. It's just all of the evidence there. She might be the queen of Dracula. We don't know. Come on. Come on. Romney, these people who are rich, you got some evidence? Go put it on the table, man. Let's look at it. The wealthy are just being set up all around the world. By the way, coincidentally, our healthcare system has just merged with the IRS. Oh. So instead of our police merging with the IRS, our doctors are merging with the IRS. Thanks to the Supreme Court ruling that Obamacare is not a mandate, it's a tax. If you don't purchase a product insurance, you get punished by the IRS. But they'll never throw you in jail. No. Europe's today is our tomorrow, and you don't want to see their tomorrow.